What are you doing? What are you doing?
Talking. Me? Just hanging around.
Good speed, Paterka in!
Come on, Whiskey, are you really going to give them grief after putting one in the W category? First of all, I'm giving Matheson grief. And secondly, I'm not going to continue beating that dead horse. I'm really happy they got one in the win category. And this is going to be a positive video with a couple of constructive comments. Let's talk about it.
He punched you right in the head. He punched me right in the head.
So Montreal faced off against Buffalo today in an early afternoon match. It was an exciting game with end-to-end hockey, and it was fun to watch Montreal compete against another young team in the league. These are the two youngest teams in the league. Buffalo is the youngest, and Montreal is the second youngest. Those numbers are propped up on Montreal from just a few veteran players. And I don't think you'd be surprised if I told you that these young teams are capable of making a lot of errors. And I would say that that was the theme of the game. However, I'm not going to pound on that too hard. Like I said, let's try to stay positive. You know what I'm positive about? You becoming a subscriber and liking my content. I do a lot of content like this. I'm going to continue doing content like this. And I'd love to have you as a subscriber because we're well on our way to 5,000 subscribers. Help me make it. If you're already a subscriber, don't worry about it. You can like the video and share it with friends if you want, but I'm glad to have you. So let's get into the highlights. Lots of highlights to talk about in this game. I'm going to show you all the goals, probably show you some penalties, maybe some saves, and maybe talk about some stuff that got under my skin vis-a-vis the referee. So how do things start off? Well, we were talking about those veteran players. How about Josh Anderson?
Behind the net. They will play it around the boards. There's Brendan Gallagher. Pass stretched up ahead. Anderson in, shot, score! What a start!
Beautiful goal by Anderson. These are the ones that you want to see him getting, and these are the ones last year that he was not getting. Let me tell you something. I'll make this quick because we got a lot of highlights to go through. But Josh Anderson is currently achieving a 12% shot percentage. In preseason, I told you that as long as he doubled last year's shot percentage, which was 6%, he'd be back at peak condition. Anderson achieved 12% shooting percentage essentially his entire career in the NHL, except for last year. If we could see a Josh Anderson like he's always been, with the exception of last year, he'd be a lot more useful to the team. And so far, that's working out for him. Go Anderson. So the boys are all smiles. At least they are for like 28 seconds. Because Tage Thompson strikes.
For this team, they've constantly been forechecking and hard to play against. That time to get one.
Tage Thompson in, score!
It is now 1-1. Before the end of the first, Arber Xhekaj collects a high sticking penalty where the stick didn't make contact. I checked the rule book, and according to the rule book, if the stick is threatening to hit the other player, it shouldn't be considered high sticking.
It's like Montreal will go to the power play here.
Montreal penalty number 72, 2 minutes for high sticking.
I take that back.
Which is funny because later on, and I wasn't able to find this footage, Jake Evans is hit in the face by Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, and no penalty gets called. That kind of boiled my blood a little bit. Regardless, the Habs kill off the penalty, and we're on to the second period, 1-1. They return to the second period, and things are still fast-paced. Buffalo takes a penalty, they kill it off. Buffalo takes another penalty, not so lucky this time.
Lane Hudson, towards that tip, score! Cole Caulfield!
That's right, that's Caulfield, making it his 11th goal of the season. He's really making a push for that Rocket Richard. The boys are all smiles again. They're yucking it up, but not so fast.
Back to the line, Dahlin shot, score!
Dylan Cousins with his third of the season. Who's on the ice here? Matheson, Goalie? I mean, Dvorak kind of dropped the ball on this one, but maths, ghouls. Seen you two on the wrong end of things often. All right, calm down. 2-2. Cooler heads will prevail, right? Let's slow things down. Not a minute later, Peyton Krebs makes it 3-2 Buffalo.
Blocked by Heineman. That one stung. That's two good ones for Heineman. He lays out, blocks the first one. Look out, 2-on-1. Krebs shot, score!
This was an awful line change by Montreal. Savard was back, but I mean, that 2-on-1 is deadly. It's worth mentioning that Hudson also made his fair share of mistakes this game, but the energy he brings, it's hard to be mad at him. He gets back so fast too, and he just puts his body on the line to try to regain puck control. And after losing that 2-1 lead, it's usually when you see the Montreal Canadiens break down, discouraged. But that didn't happen this time. The battling continued, Hudson being a big contributing factor in that. And with about a minute left in play, Slav and Suzuki combine efforts to put home an amazing goal.
Suzuki shot, score! The captain, what a goal off the rush!
I shouldn't just say Slav and Suzuki. Doc also got his hand on this one. And guess what? It's those three again before the period ends.
Ben Chase, Slavkovsky spun around, goes around power, centering Suzuki, score!
2 goals in less than a minute to reclaim the lead going into the third period. 4-3 Montreal. Third period starts. Tage Thompson has not returned. Looks like he's out with a lower body injury. Not good for the Sabres. He's a huge contributor to the team, and it gets worse. Samuelson is also out, but that doesn't matter because in less than 2 minutes, Captain Rasmus Dahlin ties it up again, 4-4.
Buffalo 0 for 2 on the power play thus far. Dahlin, score!
And don't blink because in less than 2 minutes,
Good speed, Paterka in, score!
JJ Paterka gets his 7th of the year, making it 5-4, reclaiming the lead. I was pulling my hair out. If I'm going to be negative here, both these goals were a little bit of Matheson's fault. The Paterka goal, largely Matheson's fault. And that's the goal you saw me shaming him on during the introduction. But he also provides a big screen for Rasmus Dahlin on the tying goal. And let me say this here because I don't think it'll segue well after I've done the highlights. But I got to thinking about what Martin St. Louis could possibly do to address some of the failures that the team has had recently. And the only one that was smacking me in the face was to move the goalie and Matheson pairing back and put Lane Hudson and Savard top pairing, as well as having Hudson primarily on the first PP. He did have Hudson on the first power play. At least he was playing with the top guys because he did set Caulfield up twice on that power play where Caulfield achieved his goal. All right, let's get back to the game. So obviously that brings the wind out of your sails a little bit if you're the Montreal Canadiens, but they don't give up. They still don't give up. Is this a new version of the Habs? Are they more alert during the daytime? Is somehow this young team experiencing some sort of sundowning problem? Not getting enough vitamin D maybe? Because what happens next might shock you.
For Hudson, Lane Hudson delivers across. Heineman shoots, score!
Emil Heineman set up beautifully by Lane Hudson, making it 5-5. It's worth mentioning that UPL and Caden Primo get the boot. It is now Montembeault versus Devin Levi in net. So 2 goalie changes. That's fun. So you're thinking Emil Heineman comes back, ties the game. They can't possibly keep this momentum, can they?
Delivers, Caulfield tried to tip, side of that, Caulfield, score!
Cole Caulfield with his 12th goal of the season. That's 12 goals in 16 games. That's an incredible pace. Barring an injury, knock on wood, there's no way they're going to be able to continue calling him the best 40-goal scorer who's never scored 30, right? Slavkovsky and Matheson pick up assists on that. That's 10 assists for Slav, 10 for Matheson. You know who else has 10 assists? I forgot to mention, Hudson has 10 assists. No goals though, and that's not a tease. He doesn't get his first goal this game. So it is now 6-5 Montreal. Buffalo definitely puts some pressure on. They try to show that they're making efforts. Nothing too significant though, I will say, because they eventually pull Levi, put him back in, pull him again, and then with less than a minute left, Dvorak.
Up for Dahlin, empty net available, and tripped up the captain Suzuki, and no one can cash in. Dvorak score!
That's his 2nd of the season. This could have been Suzuki's hat trick, and that's why Josh Anderson almost ruined this empty net goal. To add another layer on this, Suzuki was tripped on his way to the slot. If this goal didn't go in, if Buffalo would have regained puck control, it should have been called a goal on behalf of Suzuki. Because of course, when you're on a breakaway and there's an open net and you're tripped, the team is often afforded a free goal. I'm not sure what the exact rule requirements are behind that, but it's typically what I've seen. Doesn't matter, Dvorak gets the goal. It's his 2nd of the season with an assist from Anderson. Anderson's 5th assist, and Nick Suzuki, his 11th assist. That's 17 points for Suzuki. He's over a point per game at this point. So say what you will about the Canadian season so far, but the individuals who are supposed to be achieving points are achieving points. It's just they're not achieving points at the right times or in scenarios where they need them in order to win. Yeah, that's the game. 7-5 Montreal. Like I said, it's good to have one back in the win category, right? Lots of mistakes this game, but I don't think they need to be talked about. If I were in Martin St. Louis, I would say, great game, guys, and let's ride on it. There are certain coaches that may have said that one looked ugly, but right now they don't need to talk about that. I think they need to focus on the positives, because if he is right and the team is suffering from fragility due to low confidence, how does it help by nitpicking the small mistakes that they already all know that they made? Matheson excluded. Kind of had it up to here with you, Matheson, but I'm sure you'll make your way back into my good graces. That's going to do it for me, guys. I wanted to keep this one kind of concise because a lot happened. So let me know what you thought of the game. To those Canadians celebrating Remembrance Day, I hope you had a good Remembrance Day. Remember those who gave it all to afford us what we have today, lest we forget. I hope you had a good Monday. I hope you guys are going to have a great week. Like the video, it helps me out with search results or algorithm-y stuff. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. I'd love to have you. And as always, I'll see you down below in those comments.